What's up, guys? Welcome back to another review on the Hot Take podcast. Today, we're going to be reviewing the April 15th edition of NXT because last night we did AEW, which was a terrible show. But tonight on NXT, we got a pretty decent show, but we'll get into that in just a minute. Before we get into that, make sure you can follow us on Twitter at Hot Takes RB. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe for more content like this. And of course, follow the homie at underscore jprizzle underscore on Twitter for all the logos and stuff like that. I'm, of course, Robbie. I'm here with Big Dog Brandon. Say hello.
What up? What up? Oorah, oorah, oorah.
And before we actually jump into the show, we just take a moment to talk about the passing today, of course, of Howard Finkel, who is probably one of, if not, no, I would say he's the greatest ring announcer of all time. That voice, when you hear that man's voice, that is like, I did not grow up with him as the ring announcer, but when you go back and watch it, that is the voice of wrestling. That's the voice that like started everything. Without him, without his voice in those matches with like the Undertaker would not be the same. Steve Austin would not be the same. Nobody would be as big of a deal as they are without Howard Finkel. So rest in peace, home dog.
Yeah, and I just want to say a few things. He will forever glorify the ring announcer job. He brought prestige to that job. Justin Roberts, which is now in AEW, said he is the reason that he has a job because he came to WWE first, and Howard Finkel helped him out, became the ring announcer, and he said even man he was today. I want to read a tweet from Christian, former WWE superstar. He was in a tag team with Edge. He said, at WrestleMania 2000, after Edge and Christian won our first tag titles, I found myself alone in the locker room with Howard Finkel after the show. I said, Howard, I've waited my whole life to hear you say these words and knew it was genuine. He was the best. Rest in peace. That really connected with me because, like, all the superstars' comments on Howard Finkel just really touched me. They just talked about how genuine of a human he was, and just how good he was at his job. So, yeah, rest in peace. I'll hope he's.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, so yeah, we'll probably talk about that a little bit more on Saturday. Like the everything surrounding him, and we'll probably go over some of his best moments when we get into our news podcast on Saturday. But on a bit of a lighter note, Brandon, what did you think of NXT tonight? Your overview.
From beginning to end, I was entertained. It was completely different from yesterday's AEW show, which is weird saying, but I thought tonight's NXT show was extremely entertaining. And the only bad part is um, Tom Phillips and Byron Saxton just do not deliver the way.
They fucking
What's his name
suck.
again?
Mauro Ranallo.
What's his name again?
Mauro Ranallo.
Ronaldo.
Yeah.
Ronaldo. Ronaldo. I mean, he's the best the best there is right now. And when you put him, when you hear NXT, because when I was first introduced to NXT by Robbie, that was the voice that was corresponding to NXT. So to watch NXT talent with Tom Phillips and Byron Saxton was weird, and they're just not that good.
They
Let's be
fucking
real.
suck.
But
They suck. They suck.
yeah,
I'm sorry. They do not make this show any better. And without a crowd, it's already bad without a crowd. I'm sorry, but like us rating these shows, in my opinion, none of them have been good. None of them have been good. They've been passable. Some have been passable. None have been good. Because without a crowd, you get a match like Finn Balor versus Fabian Eichner, and there's just nothing to it. These guys went out there and they beat the shit out of each other. Oh
it was a
my
great.
god.
That was a great match.
They
That was a
beat
good match.
the absolute shit out of each other. And there was no crowd to eat it up. It just was whatever. It sucks. But segue. We opened up We went straight into the action. No promo, no nothing. Straight into the action. We got Finn Balor versus Fabian Eichner immediately at the start of the show. And I I don't think that you have any experience watching Fabian Eichner, but I do because I've watched NXT for forever. You just recently started watching it. And Finn Balor, of course, you like Finn Balor, but I know Finn Balor from when he was in NXT, and the fact that both of these guys are in the ring together in NXT, I was extremely excited because I know what Finn Balor can do, and I know what Fabian Eichner can do. And these guys can fucking go, dude. These guys can fucking go. So, getting into the outline of the match, they both tie up in the middle of the ring. Eichner goes for a sunset flip. Balor reverses it into a drop kick, his signature drop kick that he does to literally everyone in every match. Both men start to run the ropes. Eichner catches Balor in the fireman's carry. Balor reverses it, hits the elbow from the reverse headlock position. Balor, then Eichner goes outside while Marcel Bartel, who he came out with in his entrance, of course, both of them part of Imperium, as Balor is feuding with Walter in NXT UK right now. Eichner goes outside while Marcel Bartel tries to distract Balor. Balor hits the Wrecking Ball dropkick to Eichner. Bartel grabs Balor's foot while they're back in the ring to distract him. He then runs the ropes. And then Eichner grabs him, hits a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker. He then throws him in the corner, hits a big chop. Balor starts to mount a comeback, but it's halted by Eichner, who lands a fucking brutal chest slap. You want to talk about one of the hardest chest slaps I've ever seen. It was fucking brutal. Followed by clothesline for a 2 count. Eichner goes for a power bomb. Balor reverses it into a double foot stomp. Balor hits the sling blade, and then Bartel distracts him. Eichner goes for the roll up. Balor kicks out at 2. Eichner picks him up out of the same roll up position. It was a schoolboy position, and just tossed him across the fucking ring. Bartel pulls Balor out of the ring while the ref is distracted, sets him up on the stairs. Eichner goes for the knee on the stairs that we saw a few weeks ago, the same exact knee. Balor moves out of the way this time. He hits the knee on the stairs. Balor hits the sling blade and drop kick to Bartel on the outside. Eichner then goes and tosses him back into the ring, goes for the double springboard moonsault, which is a thing of fucking beauty. Oh my god. Balor reverses it, hits the shotgun dropkick into the corner, coup de grace, and then picks him up through the 1916 and the 1-2-3. So, like I said, this match was fucking awesome. These guys beat the
Was
shit out of each other, and I don't even know how long it was, but it wasn't that long. It was not that long. It wasn't the longest match of the show. But these guys went out there and they tried to fit as much as they could into that time they were given. It was fucking awesome. That Fabian Eichner's amazing, dude. That springboard moonsault thing that he does,
it
that
looked
was a
very good.
thing of beauty. Oh my god, he needs to give Charlotte Flair some tips how to do a fucking moonsault. Um, but yeah, I mean, obviously, like I said, both of these guys can go, and it did its job. I'm excited to see Balor versus Walter, and I need to start watching NXT UK. Um, if I don't think we should do reviews on it though, because that's way too much. That's way too much. But I'm
And,
probably gonna start
yeah,
watching it because I need to keep up with all these guys who are coming in because NXT UK provides as a developmental area for NXT. So I should probably start watching that just to kind of get familiarized with people, and I heard it's good too. So whatever. But yeah, these guys beat the shit out of each other. Balor actually had fucking handprints on his chest after the match, which was awesome. So yeah, Brandon, any thoughts before we get to where do we go from here in grading?
yeah, I love watching Finn Balor wrestle. I mean, he just has it. He just he has it. I mean, it was essentially a handicap match because other guy was screwing with him the whole time, but I just seemed to motivate Balor. As you saw, like he was just getting motivation the whole match. So I mean, I just love watching Finn Balor wrestle. That's just my thoughts on it. I love this. This is my one of my favorite matches of the night. So
Yeah, this was awesome. So where do we go from here? Obviously, like I said, Balor's going to go on a fight Walter, probably lose, but oh well. And then if he doesn't lose, I could definitely see that this reinvigorated, this resurfaced Finn Balor, the Prince, goes on to be a two-time NXT champion, which that would be cool. I'm down for that. Fabian Eichner, Imperium is great, especially Fabian Eichner. And I think if this guy broke away from them and they just gave him like a character, because he doesn't really have a character. His character is lackey to Walter right now. But if they broke this guy away and gave him a character, this guy could be fucking mid card champion. Absolutely, this guy can go. Oh my, I could watch this guy wrestle all day. This guy's amazing. I do see Imperium becoming tag champs at some point. I would love to see these guys versus Matt Riddle and Pete Dunne. Please
Yes.
give me it. Give me it. Take my money. Um, so yeah, I gave this a B plus because obviously it was a good match. It was nothing special. It was basically a glorified squash match because there's no way Finn Balor was going to lose to this guy. At least in my opinion, I did not think he was going to lose. Um, but they still went out there and beat the shit out of each other. And I like Fabian Eichner a lot. I like both of them. I think they both can go. So yeah, did you give a grade to this?
Yeah, I gave it an A.
Oh really?
Yeah, I gave it an A just because of I had moments where I was like, "This is it," and it wasn't it.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think. I mean, of course, you think there's no way Finn Balor loses this, but I was watching the match, I had moments where I was like, Finn Balor might lose, and I love knowing that there's no way like a guy like Finn Balor can lose this kind of match, but the match can get my mind away from that and actually try to convince me that Eichner was might have won, and I thought it was that kind of match, so I gave it an A because of the entertainment.
Respectable. All right. Next up, we had Android 4.0 Charlotte Flair bot promo. She says it feels good to call her shots because she won the Royal Rumble and she was able to call who she wanted to fight. She puts over Rhea Ripley and says that she is the future of the women's division. She then goes on and says she's not going to apologize for coming into NXT and stealing the title. She did not say stealing, I said stealing. Um, she then says that the NXT Women's Championship is going to cement her legacy. She said she's dominated the past, the present, and the future, and she starts to discuss her career and everyone just beaten along the way from Natalia in the first NXT Women's Championship match. She in the first NXT Women's Championship um, tournament or whatever. She beat Nikki Bella for the Divas title, and then she was the first new quote unquote women's champion as well. Fuck Charlotte. She then says she's going to go through every single person in the NXT Women's Division because all of the fans like to brag that the NXT Women's Division is the best among the three brands. That is correct. And then she says Mia Yim is going to be first though because that was her first ever match in NXT when she went against her, and she wants to beat her again with her first ever match as new NXT Women's Champion. I didn't give this a grade because I don't give a fuck about Charlotte, and I don't give a fuck about the women's division if Charlotte's leading it. So yeah, you have any thoughts before we move on?
To me, it just throws me off that she goes on Raw and talks, and she goes on NXT and talks. I don't like that personally. I don't know if
I
you
hate it.
disagree.
I hate it. I hate it.
As a wrestling fan from growing up with it, that doesn't make any sense to me.
No, it doesn't make any sense.
It's not like
She's NXT Women's Champion. She should be on NXT. She should what should have happened was since she won the NXT Women's Championship, now NXT has to send a superstar from the women's division from NXT to the main roster, which they did. Bianca Belair went from NXT to the main roster. So in a trade, Bianca Belair went to Raw, Charlotte Flair went to NXT because she's NXT Women's Champion, right? No, because since Charlotte Flair is Charlotte Flair, she can do whatever the fuck she wants and just show up wherever. That's bullshit. That don't make any sense. At this point, why do we even have a brand split if people are just going to show up wherever they want? It's ridiculous.
it's like if Drew wanted to go on SmackDown. I
That's
mean,
stupid. No, no, that's be so stupid.
he
I'm only okay. I'm only okay with people showing up when it makes sense. Finn Balor used to show up on NXT when he was on the main roster randomly. He got drafted to the main roster and then showed back up on NXT to fight Shinsuke Nakamura, which I was okay with because it made sense. Finn Balor never, or I'm sorry, wait. Who did he lose his NXT title to? Joe. He lost it to Joe. He showed back up on NXT, and he wanted to meet Nakamura in the ring. And he told Nakamura he wanted him to prove that he deserves a shot at Joe. And that's exactly what happened. Nakamura beat Balor and then went on to beat Samoa Joe for the NXT Championship. That, in that case, makes sense. Charlotte Flair showing up on Raw and talking about the same shit she's going to talk about on NXT doesn't make any sense. It's not drawing anybody in. Nobody cares about Charlotte Flair. Nobody. Whatever. Whatever.
Yeah, let's move on. Let's move on from Charlotte.
That's my Charlotte rant. Every time I see her, I just want to scream. Next up, we had Aaliyah versus Xia Li. Now, let me tell you something. If you gave a flying fuck about this match, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to inform you, but there's something wrong in your brain. This match did not matter. This match did not mean a single thing. Xia Li is already number one contender. Why is she going up against Aaliyah? Aaliyah is awful. She sucks in the ring. She's
Yeah,
probably amazing in bed, extremely attractive, but sucks in the ring. So why is this on my TV? Get the fuck off. I don't care about this. You had something to say?
I mean, I was gonna say before you reviewed it, I was gonna say I just did not. I had no stock in this. I didn't care. This was my bathroom break. I got out of my bed and went to pee.
LOL.
This.
Um, yeah. So into the outline of the match. If you fucking care. Xia Li immediately kicks Aaliyah, pushes her out of the ring, and then proceeds to chase her around the ring. Aaliyah hides behind the official when they get back in the ring, capitalizes hitting the pump kick or the bro kick that Sheamus does for the 2 count. Xia Li kicks out, mounts a comeback, and then hits a front-facing drop kick and a bounce off the rope spinning roundhouse kick to the back of Aaliyah. And it gets the 1, 2, 3. So who gives a fuck? I don't give a shit about any of this. Xia Li's gonna face Charlotte at some point. When? I don't care. She's not gonna win. If you think Xia Li is gonna beat Charlotte Flair for the NXT Women's Championship, you have something wrong with you. Sorry, I gave this a D because I don't give a fuck. Um, moving on.
Yes, please.
We had a Matt Riddle backstage segment. He was on the phone with Pete Dunne and he asked him who his tag partner is. He says, "What do you mean you don't know, bro?" And that was it. It was simple. It was to the point. Nothing special. But I love Matt Riddle, so I had to throw it in there. Matt Riddle's amazing. This guy's like, you want to talk about baby faces? Matt Riddle is like pure form baby face. Pure. This guy this guy, no matter where he is, no matter what he's doing, no matter who he's in a program with, he's gonna come out and get cheered to all hell. Everybody loves this dude. I fucking love him. He's awesome.
And not only that, he's amazing in the ring.
Oh, he's fantastic.
So it's like refreshing, kind of.
It's like his mic work isn't good, but it's okay. It's good enough to the point where it gets by because his character is so lax and like lazy that the way he talks on the mic works. So I actually think that I don't know. I think that's how he talks in real life because I watched a documentary about him and that's how he was. Like the way he acts on the microphone, the way he acts like in the ring and shit, and like just his personality, that's how he is in real life. It's awesome. He's just like a I don't know. He's like a dopey, fucking pothead. That's what he acts like, a pothead. And then he gets in the ring and kicks your ass. That's just I
Yes.
love Matt Riddle. Love Matt Riddle. Next up we had Isaiah Swerve Scott versus Akira Tozawa in the interim cruiserweight championship tournament. So I am personally pretty excited for where they're going to go with this. I wish we had a crowd for these matches because this was another very good match that we
Was.
we, we got that delivered tonight. Isaiah Swerve Scott is very good, and I hope I get to see more of him. Akira Tozawa has been on the roster for since the first Cruiserweight Classic tournament, so whatever. Akira Tozawa is Akira Tozawa, and I expect that we get some really good matches out of this, especially out of Drake Maverick. I I know Drake Maverick's contract is up, but I can't wait to watch that guy wrestle because I feel like he's gonna put his fucking heart into it. And I don't
It's
think they're gonna give him the title. It'd be crazy to me if they did, because his contract, not his contract's up because they released him, so they're not giving him the title. But at the very least, I want to see Drake Maverick just go out there and put on a fucking amazing matches.
it's one of those things where, like, if you were to see that live, and although it's like as an audience member, you know what he's thinking, and you know what he's been through the past few days. So to watch that with that in mind is probably going to be special. I'm going to go on a limb and say because he's gonna give it all he's got, like you said. I just can't wait to see him fight.
Yeah. All right. Into the outline of the match. So we start out, both men, you know, tie up, do some basic offense. Eventually, we get into it. Tozawa goes for a Hurricane Rana. Swerve Scott flips out of it. He then goes for one of his own and he lands it. Both men start to trade blows. Scott gets sent to the outside at some point, and Tozawa starts stomping his back while he's standing on the apron. Scott gets back up on the apron, and both men start trading blows on the apron. Scott gets thrown back down, and then he hits a Hurricane Rana from the floor to Tozawa, who's standing on the apron. And then we go to commercial. We come back, both men are in the ring. Scott gets sent back to the outside again. Tozawa goes to the apron, and he runs off and hits a running rolling senton to Scott. He then throws him back in the ring, lands a front standing dropkick for a 2 count. Both men start to run the ropes. Tozawa locks in the octopus. Scott powers him over the shoulder. Tozawa adjusts and locks in the dragon sleeper, which I thought was cool looking. Not the dragon sleeper, but like how he lifted him over the shoulders and then Tozawa like adjusted. Scott readjusts and then powers him into a suplex. Tozawa rolls up Scott for a 2 count. Tozawa goes for an ensiguri. Scott moves and lands a German suplex. Scott then hits the house call, which was so goddamn loud. He slapped the shit out of his leg. It sounded so good though. He covers Tozawa. The commentators are like, "That's it. He's got so many people with that." Tozawa kicks out at 2. And that was surprising. I thought he won it there.
Me
Tozawa then
too.
hits a belly to belly into the turnbuckle, followed by a trouble in paradise, and then he goes to the top rope and hits the top rope senton or package senton for the 1, 2, 3. It's a pretty good match. I really enjoy this match, and if this is the stuff we're going to be getting, it wasn't high flying, but it was like high octane, fast stuff, good moves, loud pops, just good wrestling in the middle of the ring between two guys who can go, then I'm 100% on board with this tournament because I just like watching two guys that can go in the ring. Um, and like I said before, I'm more interested. I'm very interested to see where Isaiah Scott goes moving forward. So yeah, you want to give your thoughts on this, and then I actually have a question I want to ask you regarding this tournament.
Yeah, well, thing about this is that you don't have to wonder is that Isaiah Scott he's still gonna wrestle. I mean, they still do matches, right? I mean, it's based on their record, so he still gets to compete in Group B tournament, right?
Yeah, so it's
So,
every guy's gonna face off against one of the other guys, or every guy's gonna face off against each guy in their group one time, and then the person with the best record goes on to fight in the final, and that's with both groups.
so yeah, I think he'll definitely get one or two, and the way he wrestled and fought against Tozawa, he looked really good, especially that house call, like you said. So I don't think that this is it for him. I think he'll still compete in this tournament. I still think he'll. I mean, I don't think he's gonna get to the finals, especially after losing this one. But I think we'll see some good matches with him, though.
Yeah, for sure. Um, so Brandon, I actually have a question I want to ask you regarding the tournament.
Okay.
So I have Group A and Group B pulled up. I don't know if you know who most of these guys are,
Let's see.
um, but I was going to ask you, who do you predict will be in the final of this tournament, and who do you think is going to win?
Give me 1 second. Let me pull up this bracket right here. Okay, got it. Man, my money. The funny thing is, I would for the hot takers out there. I was talking with Robbie on the phone, and Robbie, you could back me up on this. I said I think Drake Maverick's gonna win before they released all the people from their contracts. Robbie, I remember telling I was like, man, my money's on Drake Maverick, and it's so sad to see him go, but I think Tozawa has a good shot, actually. Um, I think Tozawa was going to come out of Group B um, just because he was been cruiserweight champion before, and I really don't know. I really don't know who's going to come out of Group A. My money would have been on Maverick, but since he's gone, I don't. I mean, he's still going to compete, but I don't think he's. I don't. I
Yeah,
really don't know. What do you think?
I think it's going to be Kushida versus El Hijo de Fantasma because they're building up this Fantasma guy. I don't know who he is. I don't know where he's from. I don't know anything about him, but they're building him up to be a fucking megastar. He's looking like a superstar. So I think they're gonna. I'm excited to see him next week because we get to see him next week. And depending on how, because I'll probably ask this question again next week. Um, but I think next week we'll have a better idea of the direction they're gonna go in because this week it was just one match, right? So I don't think Akira Tozawa or Isaiah Swerve Scott are going to be in the finals. I think Akira Tozawa is long gone. Their idea of pushing him and being the top of the cruiserweight division is long gone, and he definitely is not going to be top of the cruiserweight division. He's a Raw superstar, not NXT. And I'm looking at this from a perspective of somebody that they can put up against Jordan Devlin in an interim versus real champion position and someone who can hold the title while they go through this because we don't know how long this is going to be. If the coronavirus ends and we get Jordan Devlin versus this person, in 4 weeks, then obviously you would want someone to hold it that you can go up against him with. You wouldn't want to give it to someone like a um Isaiah Swerve Scott to go up against a heel and Jordan Devlin. So I think they're gonna do Kushida versus El Hijo de Fantasma, and they're gonna give it to Kushida. At least that's what I'm looking at right now, without um, all of the numbers and seeing all the matches, seeing how everybody's being booked. But I think Kushida ends up coming out on top, and ultimately losing to Jordan Devlin, but still giving him some type of small reign.
Yeah, next week we're going to get Kushida and Tony Nese and Drake Maverick and Jake Atlas.
That should be fun. That should be a lot of fun.
Next week, El Hijo del Fantasma makes his NXT debut in a Group B battle with gentleman Jay Gallagher.
Jack Gallagher.
That's
That
what I
should be
meant.
fun. That
That's
should be
what I meant.
fun. So yeah, I gave this match a B. It was a pretty good match. It's pretty solid, and it gave us some direction. I love tournaments, and I think that this is a different way to go about a tournament. It's not the same old bland way that we always get. Which tournaments are never bland, by the way, never. But it's different. It's different. I like that. So, and I'm excited to see cool wrestling, good wrestling. So, yeah. Did you give this one a grade?
I gave it a B plus because I thought I had moments where I thought either one could have won, and I thought it was very fast paced, and I had a good time watching it. So B plus for me.
Hell yeah. We already talked about El Hijo de Fantasma just a second ago, but they had a video package right after this hyping him up, which he was only talking in Spanish, so I only assume that he does not know English. So I don't know what they're going to do with that. I don't know if he's just never going to cut promos or all his promos are going to be cinematic and they're going to be with subtitles, or he's going to get a mouthpiece like Andrade did with Selena Vega. We'll see. But they're hyping this guy up, so I'm excited to see what he can do in the ring. He's in the Cruiserweight Championship tournament for one reason and one reason only, and that means he can go in the ring. So, because the Cruiserweight title is 100% just to be placed on guys who can go in the ring and who are undersized and don't really have anything else but going for them besides the fact that they can go in the ring. So, yeah, that's that. Next up, we had Tegan Knox versus Raquel Gonzalez. Again, if you cared about this, go kill yourself.
Oh, don't say that.
I'm sorry. If you cared about
uh,
this, the fuck is wrong with you?
this one, okay. This one was kind of. It was. They had a pre-packaged video before the match. It made it interesting. Come on.
No. No. I'm
Okay.
sorry. This match is happening because Raquel Gonzalez, if you've been paying attention to NXT TV, Raquel Gonzalez has continued to help Dakota Kai pick up wins against Tegan Knox. After Dakota Kai turned on her so long ago, Dakota Kai has yet to pick up a clean victory over her. So yeah, Tegan Knox comes out in her Captain Marvel gear, which I thought looked cool. However, that movie sucks. So yeah.
Good bad.
Gonzalez immediately and Gonzalez comes out and the match starts. So Gonzalez immediately starts showing off her strength with some dominant offense. She puts her finger into Knox's mouth like a fish hook and then she looked at the ref and she started counting with the ref. I thought that was funny. Knox then goes for a roll up, but Gonzalez powers her up and hits a clothesline to the back of the head. Gonzalez puts Knox on the top rope, distracts the ref, letting Kai hit a kick on Knox. Gonzalez then covers her for a 2 count. Shotzi Blackheart then comes out, attacks Dakota Kai, and yells, "Who's your daddy?" Gonzalez then goes over, grabs Shotzi Blackheart by the throat. Knox rolls up Gonzalez for the 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna let you talk about this because you seem to care about this more than I did.
I mean, I thought Gonzalez was gonna win because that's the way it seemed, and then Tegan Knox won. I mean,
Is that all
I
there
mean,
is to it?
the match. I mean, the match to me wasn't that interesting. I'm
It
gonna be
sucked.
honest.
The match sucked.
Shut
Gonzalez
up.
is trash. She's not good in the ring. She's so green,
Yeah,
and that's very obvious. It's very evident. She just went out there and was doing, big girl moves. She reminds me of fucking Nia Jax. I don't want to see that. I just don't want to see that. I no care in the world. The best one out of these four women is probably Shotzi Blackheart. I like Dakota Kai, but she's not going to be anything big. She'll probably stay in NXT for the remainder of her career. Tegan Knox too. Tegan Knox and
and
Dakota
it's
Kai
literally,
will remain in NXT for the remainder of their career. I'm calling that right
you
now.
know, and that was just this was just to set up a future tag match.
Exactly, which I even wrote that
Um,
here before I saw it get announced. And then they announced it later. Cool. Whatever. Who gives a fuck? Shotzi
um,
Blackheart. Shotzi Blackheart's the most money out of all four of these women, and I think she's going to be NXT Women's Champion at some point. But whatever. I gave this a D. Did you grade this?
no, I did not.
All right. Well, whatever. Who gives a fuck about this? Like I said, I don't care about the women's division right now, and it's not because I don't like women's wrestling. It's because they have the title on a fucking undeserved champion who never should have beat Rhea Ripley. Whatever. They're not even giving me intriguing matches. Rhea Ripley versus Io Shirai is way more interesting than um fucking Charlotte Flair versus whoever. I just realized that I was talking about Xia Li as if she was Io Shirai earlier. I apologize.
Oh yeah,
Now that
that's
match
true.
means even less.
Thing though was to me the most interesting part of the night.
The most interesting part of the night for you was Keith Lee's promo package.
No, after that, the next match.
Oh, I was talking about the promo package with Keith Lee, which I love, man. I love Keith
Well,
Lee.
I love Keith Lee, dude. He's gonna, dude. When he gets called up to
I
like Raw or
hope.
SmackDown.
I hope he fights Brock Lesnar and kicks his ass. I really do.
Oh my god, that's what we want.
Yeah.
That's what we want.
But yeah, Keith Lee had a promo package detailing his life. Talks about how he lived with his grandmother, and his grandmother got him into wrestling. And they talked to his parents about getting into wrestling. They were unsupportive, and then he started to grind to get to the spot he was in. And then they detail his program and his win against Roderick Strong. Hopefully we get something. There was apparently a ladder match that I did not watch a few weeks ago, where he, of course, retained the title, and I think it had um, Donovan Dijakovic and someone else, Damian Priest, I think, in
Yeah, I
a
thought it was.
triple threat ladder match. So that's cool. We'll see what we're going to be getting next with Keith Lee. I don't know who's up next, but if there's anybody up next, I think it's definitely the guy who fought after this. Dexter Lumis versus Tahuti Miles, the fucking bum. I put
Oh yeah,
in quotations the fucking bum because we saw him on Raw get his ass kicked. Who beat him on Raw? I forgot.
it was Garza.
Garza, Angel Garza. That's right. Angel Garza squashed this guy on Raw. But at least on NXT, he got an entrance.
He
At
did get an
least he got an
entrance,
entrance. At least he got an entrance.
but let me
Um,
tell you, Rob. Let me tell you, Dexter Lumis, dude. He's it. This guy's it.
I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this guy, man. He's so weird.
Serious?
I'll talk about it after we get into the outline of the match. I said I don't know about you, but Tahuti Miles did not look half bad tonight. He came out with like a different look than he had on Raw. He actually didn't look terrible. He reminded me of the Velveteen Dream kind of, but not as cool.
Well, yeah, because the only reason he looked like that on Raw was to make you think and to make you know he's about to get absolutely destroyed to make Garza and their stable look better. Of
Yeah,
course,
but
he's going to look
i-
NXT.
if you think that he's gonna win this match, you're dumb.
Oh
Clearly,
yeah, just
Dexter
stop
Loomis was exactly stop. Clearly, Dexter Loomis was gonna win this match.
this guy.
But
This guy is it.
let's get into it then. Loomis immediately nails Miles with some stiff shots. Miles gets up, starts to mount a comeback with some good-looking drop kicks. His drop kicks look pretty decent.
Yes,
Loomis hit a spine buster, and then he started crawling on his hands towards Miles. What the fuck? I
dude.
literally wrote, what the fuck, bruh?
Dude, I love dude when he came in his entrance. I know you're in the middle of the match, but let me talk about this for a quick sec. When he came in his and first of all, his entering music is badass and it's perfect for his character. It makes you it's like you think you're tripping, and then he came in the ring and he was doing that thing with his wrist. Like it looked creepy. This dude, I mean, he has it, and he appears later, which we'll talk about. But
Yeah.
I am just all I am. I'm hooked. I'm literally hooked
You're
on this
all in
guy.
on this guy. Goddamn.
I'm telling you, from the and he just like his his character and like the thing he was crawling around the ring and his like in ring ability and the fact that he wears khaki pants and no shirt and makes I mean, God, I'm in on this guy. I've never seen this guy before, but immediately when he came out, I'm like, this is my kind of guy. And he started doing it in the in ring thing. I'm hooked, man.
So after he crawls on his hands, he hits the side effect followed by the Anaconda Vice, and Tahuti Miles taps out. Obviously, I don't know what the fuck Dexter Loomis is supposed to be, but I don't think I like it as much as you do. But I definitely like it. I think it's cool. He has like this eerie feel, and being that we're in a silent arena with nobody makes it even worse. It's even creepier. The thing is, I wish I could see this guy in front of a crowd because, like I said, I have not watched NXT in a decent bit, so I don't think that this was his debut, or I know this was not his debut. I know he's had other matches before this, but I have not watched him in front of a crowd. So I would love to watch this guy in front of a crowd because I was watching the Stone Cold sessions last night. I was just kind of watching some of them, and I watched one with the Undertaker, which is like the first one, and they talk about how when the Undertaker came out for the first time, everyone in the crowd, like the kids, were terrified, and there was like this eerie silence. He came out, won this match, and like the bell rang, raised his hand, and no chairs, no nothing, and it was like a silence. But you could tell it was like an edge of your seat silence. It was like, oh, what the fuck is this? Like this guy's creepy, kind of feel. And I think that's what Dexter Loomis is definitely gonna get, that kind of reaction, like that, like eerie, like what the fuck did am I watching kind of feel.
Yes.
This guy looks like he just walked out of an insane asylum.
Oh yeah.
Um, but yeah, obviously
Especially
Tahuti
since
Miles is a bum. Wait, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, especially since his entrance music isn't music really. It's not like it's the most unique entrance music I've seen any wrestler ever have. He came out. It wasn't like there wasn't. It wasn't like rock. It wasn't. There wasn't any words. It was just like they were trying to get you like I don't know what the word I'm looking for. It was like you were on speed and you were tripping out. It was like it was cool. I love everything about this guy.
Yeah, he's cool. He's cool. I gave this a C plus because I like Dexter Loomis. So, but it was a squash match nonetheless. So yeah, grade or no, no grade.
Yeah, I give this a B plus. I can't give it an A because of Tahuti Miles, but
Tahuti Miles. See, this guy is gonna be the laughing stock of our podcast. Tahuti Miles,
oh yeah, Tahuti
fucking bum.
Miles.
Him and that guy from last night. What was his name again? The
Oh,
guy.
Justin Law.
Yeah, Justin Law, the guy I found on the fucking street.
Oh, dude. I could talk about Justin Law forever, but let's not today. But yeah, Tahuti Miles, they probably have big plans for this guy. Not
Tahuti
not Tahuti
Miles.
Miles. Dexter Loomis.
They have big plans for Tahuti Miles.
No,
Tahuti Miles, new WWE champion.
I
Um,
could see it. I could
God,
see it.
man. Next up, we had Adam Cole and another poolside promo, along with the Velveteen Dream, who addressed addressed said poolside promo. So the whole night we saw Velveteen Dream cameos in the back. He was on his couch and it had like a purple ambiance feel, and Tom Phillips kept saying that we were going to see a face to face between Cole and Velveteen Dream. Adam Cole, like prick, made a video in the morning, and he sent it to NXT, or storyline wise, sent it to NXT, in which he told Velveteen Dream, "Do you really think I was going to show up there? There are way more important things for me to do, and I've already told you you don't deserve a shot at my title, or anyone. No one deserves a shot. No, on the main roster, not anywhere, not in any wrestling promotion, deserves a shot at my NXT title." He says that there's a lot more important things we have to worry about, like the undisputed era that will regain their tag titles tonight against Matt Riddle and whoever his partner is going to be. So then we cut back to the Performance Center, and we have Velveteen Dream. He comes out and he's got that the podium with the microphone, which I thought was funny. He comes out and he stands on the podium and he starts talking and he starts cutting a promo towards Adam Cole, who's of course not there. And he says, it's pretty typical of Adam Cole not to be there. It doesn't surprise him at all, and leaves him alone in the arena for what? For Adam Cole to play video games? Because I think Adam Cole streams video games. I think that was the joke they were making there. He
He
says
does.
obviously he does.
He definitely does. I've seen him stream.
Okay. He says obviously you had enough time on your hands today because you recorded the video in the morning and NXT's taking place at night live. I thought that was awesome. Thank you for acknowledging that, Velveteen, because I didn't even realize that. He then talks about Adam Cole and how he's lived the dream of being the longest reigning NXT champion and quite possibly the best ever. And then he says, "But that's over. The dream is over." And then they have this like camera shot where they show Finn Balor in the background. And when I tell you my jaw dropped, I was so shocked. I did not think Finn Balor was going to be anywhere near this program. And he comes out and he tells Dream and he says, "I don't know you, but I don't like you. And if you're going to sit here and talk about the greatest NXT champion of all time, you're looking at him." And he says, "Watch it or you'll have a date with the prince." Velveteen Dream says, "Well, then why don't you be a gentleman and pick up the dream next Wednesday night?" That was a really good segment. I like that a lot. It was the Velveteen Dream is cash money, dude. This guy is cash money. Adam Cole is obviously cash money, and I hate saying that Finn Balor is the worst of these three guys, but he is. That is so hard disheartening for me to say. But like
I think that's actually.
this promo
I think
definitely showed that Finn Balor is not as good on the microphone as someone like a Velveteen Dream. Velveteen Dream is amazing on the microphone, dude. Oh my god. Him and Adam Cole absolutely killed this.
I think when you could say that Finn Balor have a group of three superstars is the third, it says a lot. That says this says that number one and number two are pretty damn good. So I think this match that we're gonna get from Balor and Dream next Wednesday is gonna be phenomenal. I cannot wait.
Oh yeah. A freaking I don't know, man. Velveteen Dream. This I don't know what it is. Since day one that I've seen this guy like go out there, he was just like he always had this like something about him. That they always talk about that it factor, right? Everyone
Mhm.
talks about the it factor. Velveteen Dream has got that it factor. He is amazing. This
Well,
guy
yeah,
needs
he.
to be future WWE champion, and I am afraid that they're not gonna make him future WWE champion.
Well,
So
yeah, he came out of the Tough Enough program when that show
he didn't even win.
was. Yeah,
It's
he was
crazy.
the. He was like one of the. I remember one specific episode when they were all taking bumps, and he was like the best one, like out of every single one, and it was not even close. I was shocked he didn't win. but obviously he's doing better things than most tough enough participants. So,
Yeah, none of them are
I'm
even in the WWE. He's the only one from that season, which I think was the last season they've done.
it was it was the last season.
Yeah, that's crazy. Next up after this, we had an Indus Share backstage segment. Malcolm Bivens says no matter who walks out with those titles tonight, be prepared to give them to us. And then Indus Share gave their own spew in their native tongue. But whatever. These guys are whatever. I talked about them last week, and we talked about how they are just basically the Indian version of the Authors of Pain. So yeah, um, they're probably going to be used in that same position to be put into a program between the bruiserweights in the undisputed era to further along that and let them have better matches. And these guys are going to just get thrusted into there, probably win the titles, and then ultimately lose them again. They're not going to go on a monster run. Nothing's going to happen with these guys. It's going to be major. They need a mouthpiece, and they're ultimately going to die a miserable death on the main roster. So I don't care. Personally, I don't care. Next up, we got an advertisement for the 3 cruiserweight tournament matches, plus a tag team match that we talked about earlier, which the 3 cruiserweight championship matches we're getting next week. Brandon, do you know? You said it's Drake Maverick versus who, the one guy? I forgot his name.
Give me 1 second. Yeah, we're getting Kushida and Tony Nese,
Kushida
Drake
versus Tony
Maverick,
Nese. Yeah.
yes, battles Jake Atlas
Mm-hmm.
and Phantasma
Mm-hmm.
versus Gentleman Jack Gallagher.
Okay. Thank you for that amazing mic work. Um, Next up, we had the NXT Tag Team Championship match between the Undisputed Era and Matt Riddle in a mystery partner. So we get Undisputed Era that come out. Of course, I love Undisputed Era. And then we had Matt Riddle with his entrance. Matt Riddle's fucking awesome. And then you had Pete
Bro.
Dunne. Yeah, bro. And then you had Pete Dunne appear on the Titantron, and he says, I'm sorry I can't be there. I wish I could be there to defend my titles, but I found one of the toughest son of a bitches that I could find. He's going to be a great replacement for me. And out comes Timothy Thatcher, who I'm not very familiar with at all, but this was his NXT debut. So whatever. But he was handpicked by Pete Dunne, handpicked by Triple H to get in the ring alongside these guys. So that means he's got to be good, right? Um, so yeah, getting into the match now. Matt Riddle and Bobby Fish both start in the ring and they tie up. They do some mat work. Eventually, Riddle hits an exploder suplex. Fish rolls out of the ring, and Strong goes to consult him, and then we cut to commercial break. We come back. Thatcher and Strong are now tagged into the ring doing some mat work. Thatcher locks in the bow and arrow. Strong mounts a comeback and tags in Fish. Fish hits a senton atomico from the apron for the 1 count. Fish backs Thatcher into his own corner, and after some tie-ups, and tags in Roddy. Thatcher then does the same thing to Roddy, tags in Riddle. Riddle hits a knee in the corner to Roddy. Thatcher hits a butterfly suplex, and Riddle hits a punt kick. And then Riddle hits 2 gut wrench suplexes. Thatcher gets in the ring and goes after Bobby Fish while Riddle's just holding on to Roderick Strong. And then Thatcher grabs Bobby Fish and then he goes, "You ready, bro?" And then they both do the gut wrench suplex at the same time.
That was awesome.
Yeah. Thatcher gets out of the ring, goes to the apron. Bobby Fish then eventually pulls him off. Roderick Strong capitalizes, hits the butterfly suplex on Matt Riddle, and tags in Bobby Fish. Fish then hits a back suplex for a 2 count, tags back in Roddy, who hits a backbreaker for a 2 count. Roddy tosses Riddle to the outside, tags in Fish, and this is where the match got weird. I don't know what this was. Both men start attacking him on the outside near the steps, and then they pan over, and Dexter Loomis is illuminated in light in the performance center, just in the back, stalking these guys. Um, which I want to talk about that right now, but we're gonna wait. I want to get through the match, and then we'll talk about whatever the fuck that was. Um, So then after that, they get back in the ring. Bobby Fish tags in Roderick Strong, Riddle, and then Matt Riddle starts him out to come back. Roderick Strong hits an Olympic slam for a 2 count, and we cut to commercial again. So we got 2 commercial breaks in this match. Bobby Fish gets back in the ring with Riddle after the commercial break. Fish is on the attack. Matt Riddle starts him out to come back, and Bobby Fish then tags in Strong. Riddle makes the tag to Thatcher. Thatcher hits 3 belly-to-belly suplexes to Strong and Fish, and then lays out some strikes to Roddy. Thatcher hits an Enziguri into a Fujiwara armbar, but Roddy gets to the ropes to break it. Strong then mounts a comeback, but Thatcher nails him with a slap that was fucking brutal. Um, Fish was able to distract Thatcher enough for Roddy to be able to tag him in as well. Fish then hits a running crossbody for a 2 count and then tags in Roddy again. Roddy hits a gutbuster into a knee by Bobby Fish for a 2 count. Undisputed Era start talking strategy while they're holding up Timothy Thatcher. And then Matt Riddle gets in the ring, hits an attack on Bobby Fish. Roddy then goes for a jumping knee to Riddle. Thatcher then lays the Fujiwara armbar to Roderick Strong, and he taps out. So this was, in my opinion, this was a match of the night. This was a very good match. I love watching tag team wrestling, and I love watching Undisputed Era and Matt Riddle go. And like I said, I didn't know anything about Timothy Thatcher, but this guy was pretty good. He's no Pete Dunne. He's no Pete Dunne. But he's still really good. He's really good. Matt Riddle needs to be WWE champion at some point. But let's talk about Dexter Lumis. Do you even have an inkling of an idea as to what is going on with that?
Well, I think they're just trying to make the WWE universe aware of what kind of character he is. I don't know if he is going to find a tag partner and get in, since they showed him during the tag match, or it may not have anything to do with the tag team division. He was just there to show the audience his character, like that. He's just like that, like he just stalks you, and I I, I love it. I'm a huge fan of it. When I saw that, my jaw was on the ground. I was like, this is the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, it was
I love this guy.
very cool. Yeah, I don't know. It seems like he's stalking the Undisputed Era for some reason. I don't know if he's going to go after one of them specifically, like Roddy or something. But I thought he would go after Keith Lee. Maybe he stalks Roderick Strong, beats Roderick Strong, and then he stalks somebody else, beats them, and then he goes after Keith Lee. Like so,
For the
he
North
picks up
American.
some wins to ultimately face Keith Lee for the North American Championship. But I don't know. I need to see this guy more in the ring for me to be all in on him. I think you're all in on him right now, but I want to see him go out there and put on a 15-minute match with somebody with a Roderick Strong. Roderick Strong is one of the best in the ring they got. Um, but like Roderick Strong's one of the best in the ring that we got, and if he can go out there and put on a really good match with Roderick Strong, then I'm all in on him too. I'm all in on the character, but I'm not all in on the wrestler. So we'll see. I gave this one a B plus. Like I said, it was match of the night. It was good. The bruiserweights are probably going to go on to face Indus Sher at some point, and maybe lose the titles. I don't really know. Indus Sher, like I said, they're not really speaking to me right now. I don't know how you feel about them, but they're
I,
not.
I am not a I am not a fan of them. Honestly, I'm just gonna be. They're boring.
Yeah, they're not really resonating with me right now. Malcolm Bivens is not the
He's not.
mouthpiece that is going to get them over. And so I hope they don't strap the rocket to these guys and put them over great talents like Pete Dunne and Matt Riddle. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Finally, now you probably are not going to resonate with this as much as I am because I fucking loved this. So Tommaso Ciampa is backstage and he says he's done with this. He's done fighting with Johnny and he's done with Candice. He said, we agreed. Whoever won the match, and it's over. And he says, Johnny, congratulations. Regardless of the way you won, you won. You are the better man because you won. And then all of a sudden, he gets attacked and you just hear grunts and you hear things flying everywhere. You hear him getting thrown into shit everywhere. And then he's on the ground. You see the camera come up to Tommaso Ciampa laying on the ground. You see a big fucking heel come in the camera, and then a motherfucking dude gets on all fours and he goes into his ear and he says, "Tick tock." Looks up at the camera, and we go off air. Now, I'm gonna let you go first, and then I'm gonna give my take.
Yeah, I recognize this guy, Killer Kross. Um, he was on TNA, I think. I think he was on
Impact.
TNA Impact.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, but I did some research, and because WWE is PG, he can't be called Killer, so they changed his name to Carry On Cross. I thought I thought this it was kind of cinematic. It kind of like resumed from that cinematic match of that Gargano and Ciampa had last week. So, and I thought this was the best way to introduce Cross. So, and I mean, it was just badass. So, I mean, I liked it. I really liked it, and I think it's a good way to go with Ciampa after this feud with Gargano. And I'm looking forward to next week to see what they do with this or in the future. Robbie.
Yeah. I am. I thought this was fucking fantastic. I thought it was so simple yet great. And it like we need more shit like this. Just like simply, this was so simple. It was a backstage attack, and he gets in his ear and says two words. That was it. So simple. You don't need to write a script for it. Nothing. And he made a statement. This guy's already a star. He went after the main star that there is in NXT. He immediately attacked him brutally. Although we didn't see any of it, he laid him out on the ground. He's gonna have a beautiful woman at his side when he comes out. I think her name is, I have it pulled up. Her name is Scarlett Bordeaux. I don't know if that what her name's gonna be when she debuts. Um, but it's this guy's gonna come out and he's already gonna be a star because he's already attacked him in a brutal manner and he's already come across intimidating. Now I don't know exactly the direction they're gonna go, but for a second I thought they were gonna pair this guy with Dexter Loomis. I don't think they are though. I hope not. I think Killer Kross is gonna be NXT champion at some point. I don't know when, but yeah. What is his name? Carry on Cross? You said?
And they changed it to it's gonna carry on Cross, and due to the violent nature of Killer and WWE's PG production, they changed it to carry on.
That's so gay. That's so
What it
lame.
is.
That's so lame. Whatever. Whatever. It. I enjoyed this segment. This segment was very, very good. It was so simple yet very, very, very good. And Tommaso Ciampa is obviously great. He's great on the microphone. He has such like a personal approach to all of his promos. Johnny, we didn't see Johnny tonight, but we knew it was we knew this was coming. We didn't know if he was going to go after Tommaso or Johnny. I don't know if you knew this, but when you go back and you watch that the Johnny Gargano Tommaso Ciampa match from last week, when they're walking out, when Johnny and Candice are walking out, there's a second or two or five where there's another car back there, and
You see someone in it.
yeah, Killer Kross is the guy that was in the car.
Okay, that is okay. Never mind. I love this way more because what I thought. I remember at the end of that, and he was walking in the car with his boo thing. I saw that person in the car. I was like, is someone gonna attack him? Is he gonna get out the car? And then they just went off.
Yeah,
And I was like, and I just immediately disregarded as like just like something when they were recording, someone was just in a car.
no, yeah,
But
that was Killer
no,
Kross. That was him in the car.
amazing.
Yeah.
Triple H, I mean, this dude was born for this, dude.
Yeah, man, storytelling at its finest. It's
Think of when he takes over
good
the
shit.
World Wrestling Entertainment main rosters.
I don't know if that'll ever happen. Vince McMahon's never gonna die. Um, Anyway, overall thoughts. Outside of the Tommaso Ciampa stuff, we got nothing really too interesting storyline wise. Obviously, we got direction into next week. We got a bunch of matches set up for next week. Velveteen Dream versus Finn Balor as well. Very interesting, in my opinion. And we got some pretty good wrestling. We got good wrestling tonight, and like I said, a great closing segment, which had me on the edge of my seat, genuinely. So yeah, I'm excited to see where we go with the cruiserweight tournament in the coming weeks because it is very unpredictable. I have no idea. I was just saying Kushida versus um, Phantasma because that's just a guess. I don't really know where they're gonna go with it. The women's division sucks because fuck Charlotte. The tag division looks to be heading for a one-way course between bruiserweights and Indus Sure, which is it's not necessarily predictable. It's predictable in the outcome, just the way they're doing it. I'm interested to see how they get there, but less so than if we were to get another tag team match. But the tag team division is pretty thin right now in NXT, so I don't think the bruiserweights are going to end up losing those titles. I think Indus Sure is just going to get their ass kicked. At least I hope so. At least I hope so. Dexter Loomis is creepy, and Brandon has a hard on for him. And then Adam Cole versus Velveteen Dream is ultimately inevitable. And I'm excited for when we get it because I like the direction we're going in. Like I said, we know what's going to happen. It's just how are we going to get there and when is it going to happen? And I think they're doing a good job of Adam Cole versus Velveteen Dream, giving us weeks to prepare ourselves for it because we want it to happen. We just don't know when it's going to happen, right? So
I
it's
won
one
in
of,
front of an audience.
yes, I want it in front of an audience, but we're probably not going to get it in front of an audience.
I feel like we're so close. We're so close to getting that. I just have a hunch that we're so close to getting the audience back.
No, they already stated that we're not going to have audiences till like September, bro.
Oh well.
Whatever. Do you have any overall thoughts before I grade this and we talk about who won Wednesday Night Wrestling?
No, just Dexter Loomis. That dude's it. I do have a heart out for this guy. Um, you pretty much nailed it. I think let's just go straight into who won Wednesday Night War.
All right. I gave this show a B minus simply because there was a little bit too many squash matches for me. But the Tommaso Ciampa backstage segment was awesome. Obviously, we got some really good wrestling. Xia Li versus Aaliyah was whatever, terrible. And then Raquel Gonzalez versus Tegan Knox was terrible. So, you know, in my opinion, for me to give it a good grade, you have to have an all-around good show, and it got a thumbs up. It got a thumbs up. So overall, it was a good show, but there were still some bad things on it. The women's division needs fixing, big time, big time. We need to get Charlotte away from that fucking title immediately. Um, but yeah, I thought Wednesday Night War, obviously, based on my grade from AEW and today, NXT definitely did the better job. I thought AEW all around last, or well, we're recording this now. It is now Friday because it is midnight, but on Wednesday night, April 15th, was the better overall show because they just, or I'm sorry, AEW did not have the overall. It was overall a bad show. There was basically nothing on that show that was interesting. Nothing. There was nothing that advanced storylines in a terrible, terrible main event. Terrible main event. Whereas tonight we got a really good main event with the tag team championships on the line, some really good wrestling matches, and a great closing segment, furthering a storyline and getting you intrigued for where they're going to go next week, involving this Tommaso Ciampa versus Killer Kross whole story. So that's my take on the Wednesday Night War.
Yes, my take on Wednesday Night War. And on our Twitter at Hot Takes RB, we polled our Twitter followers who won the Wednesday Night Wrestling. 78% said NXT and 22% said AEW. The 22% I'd like to hear where you're coming from there. Because NXT was clearly the better show. Getting NXT for me, I would give them a B plus to my D minus from AEW. Wednesday night. And it reflected in the ratings, not only on our Twitter poll in the ratings. NXT has won the past 2 weeks in the television show ratings. After AEW dominating since the beginning of March, NXT has been edging AEW for the past 2 weeks. Last week, she had about 692,000 to AEW 691,000.
Oh shit, that was close. That's
But this
surprising.
But this that was last week. This past week,
Oh,
it wasn't close, which is surprising because you would think that AEW, even though it wasn't the best show, still would have beat NXT because of Moxley and Hager, but not the case at all. It was 692,000 for NXT and 683,000 for AEW
damn.
for for April 15th Wednesday Night Wars, which is completely shocking to me. I know NXT was the better show, but you don't know that at the time you're watching. So here's what I assume what happened was I think people were watching AEW and then switched to NXT because of the content they were getting. Because it wasn't as good as the normal AEW Dynamite show. But it's surprising to me because Moxley and Hager was the main event for the AEW World Championship and No Holds Bar Empty Arena. I was hyped for that. That's why I watched AEW over NXT. But NXT won this week, going there on a 2 week winning streak for the first time this year.
Damn. Well, that's how it be sometimes. You know?
They're, they're probably going to win next week too.
I don't know about all that. Yeah, probably. Especially because they won even with the world title on the show. I don't know. I think people are just they don't really want to watch AEW with that crowd because AEW is putting on amazing television, amazing wrestling shows with the crowd, and people don't want to see that. Nobody's really watching wrestling at all right now, which is just a bad time because nobody wants to watch wrestling without a crowd. Nobody's really watching Raw. Nobody's really watching SmackDown. Nobody's really watching anything, which is why we got a bunch of releases, which we will talk about on Saturday. So make sure you tune in for that. It's a good segue to talk about our upcoming shows. Of course, Friday Night SmackDown. Be sure to tune in for our Friday Night SmackDown review, in which Brandon will lead, and then Saturday we will have. We don't know what we're gonna call it yet. Probably like hot take newscast or something like that. Something like that, where we talk about the latest wrestling news and we talk about the WWE releases and possibly some other rumors. Going along with that. So make sure you guys tune in for that. That'll be fun. That's going to be a good time. And of course, we'll be here next week also with your Monday Night Raw, your Wednesday night NXT or AEW, and then Thursday night we'll do the other one. I have not decided which one I'm going to watch first yet. We have not decided which one we're going to watch first yet. And then of course Friday Night SmackDown as well. So, Brandon, you have any words before I close this out?
Yeah.
I guess not. All right. So Brandon is dead. I cannot hear anything he's saying. So with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and close this out here. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, of course, and tell us things you like about this. Of course, tell us things you don't like about this. Make sure you tune in, like we said, tomorrow and of course Saturday for our other reviews. And check out in the YouTube card in the top right of the screen. We have other videos. We're gonna have the AEW review up there and the Monday Night Raw review up there as well. So take care, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.